The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy. I'm Tank Spencer. Jeremy Greene off today. Brian Haynes filling in. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Here we are live in the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different, and man, the NBA is on fire right now. Major League Baseball's going. We're going to take the opportunity, since the draft nerd is hopefully enjoying a wonderful morning on the golf course. We are sending the draft nerd away. We're going to focus on some other things today, as we'll talk some NFL toward the end of the program, but I want to focus in on the NBA because we got a month away before the playoffs start here. Who's real? Who's not? Steph Curry's on an amazing run right now.
Yeah.
He's doing things that, as I said in the post, he's doing something that no other NBA geriatric has ever done before. And it's weird to call him a geriatric, but it's like Brian this morning when we were talking about the Yankees calling Jay Bruce 700 years old. You realize he's like 10 years younger than you, right?
I actually said he was 955 years old, but yeah, he is 10 years younger than me, but I am not a professional baseball player and don't claim to be one, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn last night.
In professional terms, yes, very much. We got some injury updates in the NBA as well. We'll talk some MVP stuff, and of course, we'll get into a little bit of baseball.
I'm not looking forward to this. But listen,
Brian's a Yankees fan.
I'm a Yankees
in case
fan.
You didn't know.
I grew up in New York and upstate New York, which is completely different. As most people don't know. That's where the men are men and sheep walk with a limp, if you know what I'm saying. But here's the thing: the Yankees suck right now, and we're going to get into it. And I'm going to tell you why they suck and what they need to do to maybe, save the season.
Okay, all right, because I just, things aren't going well, and I don't think things are going to end well if they continue down this path for Aaron Boone. Tell me, trust me, the day that he gets fired by the New York Yankees is going to be a day like I could just piss on his grave.
It's going to be the day like you remember him hitting a home run against you and sending them home.
2003, Grady Little, fuck you.
Yeah.
Hate you, son of a bitch.
Tim Wakefield was awesome.
Pedro dealing, and he left him in. God almighty.
Well, Pedro probably would have knifed him if he took him out of the game. So,
you have to take those risks when the title's on the line.
Yeah,
but
you got to.
It is what it is, and Aaron Boone's gonna fucking get his. You just wait.
You wait.
So all of it coming your way over the next hour here. Don't forget, we will have all of your NFL draft coverage right here in the Sportsocracy, live all 3 days of the NFL draft, starting, of course, next Thursday.
Yep.
I can't believe that it's
coming up fast.
It's coming up real quick.
We're going to have a lot of fun here. All of us are going to be here. We're sponsored by a brewery, which is a good thing.
It's going to be dangerous.
Also, I pray for all of our livers for 3 days straight. Hopes and prayers for the livers out there, folks. Hopes and prayers.
Look, I'm gonna try to be the dad in the room. I'm gonna try to be the one keeping everything going, making sure everybody's good. But I'll be honest with you, it's hard for me not to have fun as well.
Yeah.
And Lord knows where this could go. I mean, we did a live for the NFL draft at Jeremy's house last year, just on Facebook. And if you remember how that went, the farther we got into the draft, the more and more it got pretty damn hilarious, with just people running in and out of the room, and it was all kinds of craziness. I can only imagine what's going to be like when we have 10 people in this studio and just a revolving door of people coming in and out throughout the 3 days. So it's going to be a fun little experiment. And we hope you take the ride with us. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Share it with your friends as well. We are adding new subscribers each and every day. And, of course, that just helps us bring you a better product. So if you can, help us out on that, we would greatly appreciate it. All right, let's talk some NBA. Steph Curry last night. I was watching this game, and he just can't miss. I mean, the guy, in the last 10 games, Steph Curry's hit 70 three-pointers.
Woo.
That's friggin' insane. He has set all kinds of records now for, I mean, what is it? Give it out.
Yeah, so he has got his record-setting 11th straight game with 30 points or more. He actually has more 40-point games in this month than anybody in the history of basketball. That includes Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. That is old. I'm sorry. That is 33 years of age or older.
Right.
But he's unreal right now, and he's completely put this team on his back. I mean, they're 29-29, which is is obviously the definition of average. Mm-hmm. But, Wiseman getting hurt, I think, hurt this team. Obviously, Klay Thompson's not playing. Draymond's been hurt here and there. He is willing this team on his back, and he's trying to get them at least a shot at a possible, playoff berth by getting into the playoff games. Listen, there's a lot of people injured throughout the basketball right now, all over the NBA.
Yep.
If Steph continues this tear and they can win some games, there's a really easy possibility that they can make the playoffs. And, I mean, it's going to be really hard that if Steph and the Warriors somehow make the playoffs or get there, that he's not the MVP of this league, barring any injury or anything right now. I mean, I know Joel Embiid. I know you got other players. But these guys are hurt a lot. I mean, there's not a whole lot of people that are playing every single day. Steph is out there just playing his absolute heart out. I think he's had this grudge a little bit. I think people have forgotten a little bit about how good Steph Curry is.
Oh, yeah.
Over the last couple years. And I believe that this is kind of like a tour of, kind of like the Aaron Rodgers tour of last year.
Where he's the FU tour.
The FU tour, and basically saying, you know what, I'm still here. Mm-hmm. I'm the one who changed this game, and I'm going to show you why. Period.
I mean, we're all victims of the moment. We latch on to the latest, hottest thing, and then move on and forget about all the other things. I think part of that is what Steph Curry's doing right now, because we're in a moment in basketball right now where, yes, there's a playoff push going on, but I think a lot of us are just kind of sitting back going, yeah, but the Lakers don't have LeBron and AD.
Yeah.
It's just, we're not seeing all these teams at full strength right now. And so some of the luster is taken off of the playoff push. But with Steph Curry now doing what he's doing, it gives us a moment just to sit back and go, okay, well, the Golden State Warriors may not be relevant in the playoff discussion right now. I mean, yes, to a degree, but not when you're talking about championships.
Yeah.
We're talking about teams that win a championship. The Golden State Warriors are nowhere on that list.
No, I don't believe they have an opportunity to win this championship.
Right.
So I think that a Steph Curry-led team could be very dangerous to a high seed if they make it in there. Currently, they're sitting at 9th right now, only 2 games behind the Grizzlies. Mm-hmm. I think they're better than the Grizzlies. Yeah. 7th is the Mavericks. I don't think they're better than them. I think they have a chance to make the 8th spot or at least get in that playoff. So they'd be playing Utah. Is Donovan Mitchell going to be still injured?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I feel like a Steph-led team could give Utah a crazy run, and that would be scary. If I'm going into playoffs number 1 seed and I'm seeing the Warriors across me, I'm not saying, yeah, we're going to be making it to the second round right away. I'm thinking, we got to figure out a way to stop this guy or we could be going home. Mm-hmm. And that's not anything. But I'm looking at, excuse me, I'm sorry. Apologize. I'm looking at these teams, and you spoke about the Lakers coming back with LeBron and AD. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at the teams in the West right now. In Utah, I'm not a believer in Utah Jazz. They're number 1 in the. They play really good together. They play really good team ball, but I don't see them. I don't see the Utah Jazz making a run at the finals. I just don't. Yeah. The Phoenix Suns are unbelievable right now. Mm-hmm. Has Chris Paul ever won a championship?
No.
Has Chris Paul been to a NBA Finals?
No.
Now we look at that. We go down to the Clippers. The Clippers are someone that they're getting better, but their team is just weird. Like, I don't feel like playing this day. Yeah. I feel like that just comes. They just replaced Doc Rivers with Tyronn Lue, and players can do whatever they want. I think the Rondo signing was a pretty big signing. Playoff Rondo is a different kind of animal. Mm-hmm. The Nuggets are next. The Nuggets are without Jamal Murray for the rest of the year.
Yep.
And I think that just kind of takes them out of the running automatically.
I mean, it doesn't take them out of the running, but I mean, it would take a Herculean effort. I mean, they're playing really well without Jamal Murray. I get that it's only been 2 games, but I mean, Michael Porter has started to pick up some of the offensive slack in his absence, and they're 2-0 so far. It's just day by day kind of thing. Now, are they still surefire contenders for an NBA title? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But I still don't think it takes them out of the running.
Right.
I mean, they're still probably going to be, at worst, the 5 seed in the West. I think without Jamal Murray. So
yeah, and the Joker's playing MVP ball too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's unreal. And
see, that's the one thing that about this, us living in the moment of Steph Curry. And all of the great 30-point streak that he's got going, and he scored 40 points in 4 out of his last 5 games or something like that. Or no, he's hit 10 3-pointers in 4 out of his last 5 games, and he's got 5 40-point games in the last 8, I think it was.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable a tear that he's on right now. But I mean, this is kind of what you expect from a team that has one major superstar. I mean, we're back to, and I'm not putting these 2 guys in the same class, but we're kind of back to like, James Harden with the Rockets.
Yeah.
When he's the one guy that can do all the scoring, of course he's going to have big games. Now, again, the tear that he's on, all the 3-pointers that he's hitting, I mean, he's just supremely confident in his shot. He's an elder statesman now in the NBA, which is hard to think about. For people like me who watched him play at Davidson and was like, oh, this kid, he might be something special at the next level. And then lo and behold, he became Steph Curry. I mean, he changed the friggin' game.
It was, it was unreal.
But see, this little downtime here and Curry's hot streak gives us something to look back on and go, yeah, I mean, Steph Curry, he's still got it.
Right.
He's still the man. And this team would be supremely different if Klay Thompson were still out there.
Oh, of course.
We would be having a completely different discussion. But what it brings me to is, obviously, hats off for the hot run that you're on. But in the end, what's it going to end up mattering? Because, sure, I mean, they pulled off a good win against Philadelphia last night, and that's a team that most of us believe is going to be a contender or might even win the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
But
I think,
can you do it for a sustained period when Steph Curry is your only thing?
Yeah,
no,
that's the thing. How long can he keep this up? I mean, there's something about Steph to me that just says this year he's just not going to stop. I think he can give somebody some dangerous opponent in the first round. I don't think they're making it past the second round. I still don't think they would win a playoff series.
Right.
I think that they still have I think that they would have an opportunity. Listen, right now, I wouldn't want to play Steph anybody. I don't care who you are. I just would not want to play him because he can hit 13, 14 3-pointers in the damn game.
Right.
And the next thing you know, you're down by 20 and there's no way you can come back. I mean, that's how good he's playing right now. When you have a player that's this hot, it's hard to think that he can't win every game he plays. But I don't know how sustainable and long-term this could be. I mean, we're still a whole month away from the playoffs. It's not like they're starting next week and they're in there.
Right.
So, I'm looking at this stuff. It's really weird. I think there's more teams, as good as the West is, I think that there's more teams in the East that could possibly get to the championship than there is in the West.
More teams.
But what I'm saying is, I believe that the West, I think, is kind of going to be the Lakers, the Clippers, and then a couple other guys.
Okay.
Teams.
So Lakers, Clippers, Suns. Would you put Suns at the 3? Would they be your third best team in the West?
I think I would put Utah above the Suns with a healthy Donovan Mitchell.
Okay.
Other than that, I think that the Suns are playing good team ball, but I also think they're young, except for Chris Paul, who's, old and wonderful. I don't know. Sorry, guys. I'm dying over here. Need more coffee.
Yeah. You sound like you need another heater.
Yeah, exactly. But in the Eastern Conference, Philadelphia is obviously there. The Nets are obviously there. But the more and more I watch and I see this, Kevin Durant's freaking hurt again.
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems like this guy. I mean, how many games has he played this season? I feel like it's 7.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? His number or whatever the hell he's wearing now. They've played 10 games together. Kyrie, Kevin Durant, and James Harden. Yes, these guys are all world players, and I don't think it, but I think it matters. I think it matters for your rotation. I think it matters for everything. I just think that if you're not playing all together, then all of a sudden we get to the playoffs and you're going to be playing together. It just messes with everything. And I just have this feeling that I don't know what it is, but I have this feeling they're going to get knocked out way earlier than I expect. I don't know how or why or what, but I just have this feeling that it's going to be one of those situations where they get into a playoff series, maybe they get down or they do something. It kind of reminds me of the Clippers going against Denver last year in the playoffs.
Right.
I feel like no one would have thought that Denver would have won that series, but they did. And I had that same feeling this year about the Nets. Now, the Bucks, obviously, with Giannis, is a team that could obviously make it because he's unbelievable. The Celtics are always going to be a thought because they just play really good defense and they're there always. Yeah. And my New York Knicks.
He's got to squeeze them in there.
I'm going to squeeze them in there. I don't think this team's going to make the finals.
Okay.
But is there a better defensive team in the league right now than the New York Knicks?
A better defensive team than the New York Knicks. I mean, probably. I'm going to say
see, here's the thing.
They're one of the best defensive
They are
teams.
top 3 in every single team defensive category in the NBA right now.
So as a whole,
Tom Thibodeau is coaching, getting the absolute best out of every single one of these players. And Julius Randle is an all-NBA player, period.
An all-NBA player.
He just won Player of the Week, averaging 38 a game with like 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks.
Right.
I mean, he's playing unbelievable. I'm a Knicks fan, so obviously I'm a little bit happier. Once we talked about it last week, the curse of Jeremy Greene is lifted. You know what I mean? He decided to switch gears and not be a Knicks fan anymore. Obviously, they start getting better because that's how it goes. But here's the thing. Again, I don't think that the Knicks are going to make the NBA or the NBA Finals, even the Eastern Conference Finals. But this is a team that can definitely do some damage in the playoffs. And for the first time in a very, very long time, I am excited for the New York Knicks basketball. Can you imagine the playoff atmosphere in the Garden?
With 20% fans?
With 20%
awesome.
fans.
It's going to be super awesome.
Well,
don't do that. Don't do it. Look, the other night the New Orleans Pelicans were in town to play the New York Knicks, and everybody's making big shit about Zion Williamson was asked about playing in Madison Square Garden, and he was saying, "Oh, it's my favorite place to play outside of New Orleans." Of course. I mean, like, what else is he gonna say? And then they're making it into this thing like, "Oh, look, he wants to play in New York, and he wants to become a Knick, and blah blah." Like, you can't even focus on the fact that you've got a team that's won 7 games in a row. They're playing amazing defensive basketball right now, and they are a threat. They can be a threat to one of the big teams in the Eastern Conference. They will give somebody a damn good series in the playoffs.
Right.
Absolutely, I believe that. Julius Randle coming into his own this year has been phenomenal. Which, he came into the NBA, 19 years old? He's been in the league for 6 years, 7 years?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's only 25 or 26. I'm going to check on that.
Something like that.
He might even be younger than that, to be honest with you.
But remember, I mean, this is a guy that set the world on fire at Kentucky, and we all thought, damn, he's going to be something special at the next level. And then he goes to New Orleans, and he played in L.A., and it just, he never got to be the star. And now with the New York Knicks and the way that Tom Thibodeau plays basketball, he's become the god of the city. And
the people are loving him right now.
Right. But that's the thing, it's never enough. It's never enough for Knicks fans. Knicks fans have to immediately go straight to, oh my God, we're going to win a world championship, and Zion's going to come play with us, and we're going to be in the NBA Finals. And
that's stupid.
Just enjoy it for the moment. Like,
definitely enjoying it.
And that's the one thing that's always killed me about you guys as Knicks fans, is that you immediately think because you won a world championship back in 1970 with Walt Frazier that you're owed something. Like we were the kings of the NBA world in the 1950s, motherfucker. What are you talking about?
Oh, man.
Come on.
No, I know.
New York has not been relevant since Patrick Ewing left town.
That's the thing. That's the thing about it. We haven't even been sniffing a playoff for a very long time. And going into this season, did anybody think that we were really sniffing a playoff again?
Was it 7 years? 7 years without a playoff berth?
Yeah, I think we've gone, 150 years without a playoff victory. Well, at least a series, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Since probably 95 when I was graduating high school. But,
right.
We go back. But I digress. Here's the thing about the Knicks fans is that we are so starving for relevancy that when you have a team like this, who you look at and they got some young players, Derrick Rose has come in and he's played very well. Him and Tibb have, a history together.
Right.
But he's accepted the role that he's playing and he's playing really good. Mm-hmm. I think Emmanuel Quickley is way better than anybody expected him to be. Mm-hmm. And he's in the running for the Rookie of the Year. Since Melo got out, but I think Melo's come back a little bit earlier than expected. Yeah. There was a report out there. But we're so starving for relevancy that something like this gives us a tiny bit of hope. Mm-hmm. And you have to win. The thing is, we haven't even been good enough to attract people to come to New York as free agents.
Right.
But when you put a team together like this, where there's no true superstar on it, you got a group of guys that are playing really well. You've kind of built some up through the system. I mean, Mitchell Robinson is still hurt. Mm-hmm. He's out and he's always hurt. But these are the kind of things that happen that can start the process of attracting bigger name free agents in the upcoming years. If we can stay as a team that makes the playoffs the next couple years, people are going to look at this as a different story. Now, can we get James Dolan out of here? That is the main thing. Somehow, some way, that man needs to be taken out of New York. And when he does that, I think things will change a little bit. But right now, we're starting the blocks. It's a starting block.
It's a building block.
A building block to something. Please, Lord, please, let us be relevant again.
Well, unfortunately, the 7-game winning streak will come to an end tonight as the New York Knicks take on the Charlotte Hornets. Even without Gordon Hayward and LaMelo Ball in the lineup, you have to admit the Hornets have been playing pretty well.
I'm very surprised.
I mean, I'm shocked as hell because I thought as soon as both of those things happened, I was like, okay, the season's over and there's nothing to fight for. But, I mean, they're hanging on. They're in the 8th spot right now, so they would be in the Eastern Conference play-in tournament.
Speaking of that play-in,
Well, hold on. Before we get to the play-in tournament, I think that, and here's the thing, tonight they may not win. The Knicks are friggin' hot.
Well,
and they may not win this game, absolutely. But I will tell you, I have not checked the number, but I'd be willing to put money on the under tonight. Between these two teams who are top 5 defensive teams in the NBA, I got a feeling, and the Hornets have not been scoring well since their stars went out.
Right.
Playing without Devontae Graham and both Hayward and LaMelo Ball. I think it was something like in 8 of the last 10 games they haven't scored over 100 points.
Yeah.
Or something like that. But they're still relevant. They're still hanging in there. The Knicks are super hot, and they will be playing the Charlotte Hornets tonight, so we'll get to see that. We did get an update on LaMelo Ball.
Okay,
LaMelo Ball has been cleared to resume individual basketball activity after the CT scan on his fractured right wrist showed that it has healed.
Okay,
and so that he could be back in the lineup for the Hornets in the next 7 to 10 days.
Oh wow, that's way quicker than anybody thought.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's if they can stay where they are in that 8th spot area, and LaMelo comes back, we can see the Hornets make the playoffs, which is something that hasn't happened in a long time.
I think they will definitely make the playoffs. I mean, the last time we made the playoffs was 2018, I believe. I think that was the year that they actually gave the Heat a series.
Yeah.
We did end up. It went 7 games. Ended up winning 3 of them. You know, you got down to the final game, and at least that was progress. Before that, we had gone on like a 15-year stretch where they hadn't won a single friggin' game in the playoffs. Just kept getting swept out of the playoffs. But I think that was 3-4 years ago, something like that. I mean, it's fun. It's fun to have a relevant team finally coming down toward the end of the season.
And can we be the champion for Miles Bridges in the dunk contest next year? Because that guy can jump through the freaking roof.
Yes.
He is doing some things on the court. I mean, posterizing dudes every single night of the week. And I always thought that kid had some hops. He's showing it.
Oh, absolutely.
And this is the thing, when you have a team like the Hornets, when you have their stars go down and you see guys step up, that's the signs of a team that's in a progression state, where when everybody else seems to start picking up the slack for your stars, you're staying in games, you're doing well, you're giving these guys opportunities to play more, which helps them out when they all come back.
Well, and the fact that you have your stars are gone, top 3 scorers have been out for a while, and they're still being competitive in games.
Yeah.
You know, Vernon Carey on Friday night.
Yeah.
Where the hell did that come from?
Where?
He comes in, gets his first start in the NBA, and scores 21 points. And, you know, of course, second game out wasn't all that good.
No.
You know, he didn't score a point and had like 4 fouls in 7 minutes or something like that. But there again, to me, it just shows you that James Borrego is a good coach. And I don't know why I ever doubted it. You know, coming off the pop tree, coming to Charlotte, is this what we really want? We really want to start one of these builds? I thought it would take a lot longer. But it seems like he's getting guys in the building that he really can coach and he really enjoys, and they're still competitive without their stars. So that tells me once the stars come back, there might be a possibility to win our first playoff series since 2000.
Hold the horses.
I'm just saying.
Hold the horses. That would mean they would have to be either Philadelphia, Brooklyn, or Milwaukee.
It's not going to happen.
Okay. That's the same thing where I'm at with the Knicks, too. Right. I'm like, maybe if we get up to number 5? Maybe. But I don't see us beating Philly, Brooklyn. Oh, man, could you imagine the ratings for the Brooklyn the next series? Oh, that would be so fun. And it would be awesome if we were the ones that sent them home. Holy shit, I would be all over the place killing them.
The battle for New York
would be amazing.
Yeah, and after Brooklyn went out and built the super team, I get it. It would be a massive win. It would make you so much more insufferable as a fan base, which I don't think anybody's looking forward to.
He's talking about being an insufferable fan base. How long has it been since the Super Bowl and we're still talking about it? Good grief.
Are we or are we not still the world champions?
Yes, you are.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
And we've got at least another, 11 months to claim this.
God bless us all. Somebody help us.
Fire them cannons, baby.
By golly!
By golly. Look, I don't think the Hornets are real contenders or anything. At this point, like I've been saying, you take baby steps.
Yeah.
It's baby steps. Get into the playoffs, win a game, and then maybe think about winning a series at some point. No, if they have to be in the play-in tournament and they get into one of these matchups with the Brooklyn Nets or the Philadelphia 76ers, I'm hoping for a good series.
Yeah.
That's all you can do. That's all you can do as a fan of one of these, not as irrelevant, but still irrelevant teams.
Yeah.
Because again, the group of teams that can actually win an NBA title, I think we're down to 5. I think that's it. I think it's Philadelphia 76ers, the Brooklyn Nets, the Milwaukee Bucks. Then over in the Western Conference, give me the Lakers
and the Clippers.
And I'm not even on the Clippers. I'm actually thinking it might be the Phoenix Suns.
The Phoenix
Suns might be my 5th favorite team in the NBA to win a title right now.
That's insane.
It sounds crazy. It sounds crazy to think about, but Devin Booker is an unbelievable player. DeAndre Ayton, same thing. Chris Paul coming to that team has given them some kind of a magic shot in the arm.
Right.
I mean, it's just you put a guy who knows the game and knows how to be a winner. Yes, he hasn't ever made the finals. I get it. I don't care. To me, Chris Paul is an amazing Hall of Famer. No doubt, first ballot Hall of Famer. There ain't no doubt about it. Last night he passed Magic Johnson on the all-time career assist list.
That's pretty impressive.
He's now 5th all-time in assists.
I mean, Chris Paul is an unbelievable player. Chris Paul has never been to a finals. Chris Paul has never won a final. Obviously, he's never won a finals because he's never been to the finals.
Yeah, but
he's had some good teams.
Yeah.
He's had some really good teams.
But he's been in New Orleans. He went to the Clippers, and then he also played for the Thunder last year. Oh, and then there was that little stop off with championship team killer James Harden in Houston.
Well. That went real well. Actually, he's been a part of teams that have been up 3-1 in the Western Conference Finals and lost twice.
Yeah.
Clippers were up 3-1. Houston was up 3-1.
And how much do you blame him for that? How much is that Chris Paul's fault that they didn't get it done?
The Clippers won. It was a lot of his fault.
It was a lot of his fault?
He did not play very well in that final game 7. I think he might even actually. Nope. Chris Paul got hurt. I'm sorry. I'm bringing up stuff that I shouldn't realize because he was hurt. They were up 3-1. That's not really his fault. He was part of the team.
Yep. He was part of the team. But you know who coached that team?
Oh, yeah, your favorite.
Who's the coach of that team?
That was going to be Doc Rivers.
Can't blame Blake. Can't blame Blake. Can't blame Chris. Chris wasn't even out there. He's hurt ankle. Can't even blame him. It's Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers, the guy who, when we talked about the Clippers firing Doc Rivers, Jeremy said it was the stupidest thing ever. Okay, maybe so. Maybe it was a dumb move for the Clippers to fire Doc Rivers, but he's a guy who hasn't won anything since he was with the 3 Hall of Famers in Boston.
Right.
And it's, at some point, that's going to come back on you. Do I think Doc Rivers is a bad coach? Absolutely not.
No.
But it is kind of a, black mark on your track record that you are the coach of these teams that could not make the finals in the Western Conference. And think about those teams that they had. I mean, Dunk City or whatever the fuck they call it. Lob City, that's what it was. Dunk City was Florida Gulf Coast.
That was awesome, too.
Yeah. Florida Gulf Coast was awesome. But the Lob City teams. Everybody thought, hey, they might have a chance this year. Oh, here they go. They got a 3-1 lead in the finals or in the semifinals, and then just can't get it done. They end up getting beat by better teams and maybe better coaches as well. And that's kind of, I can't really fully get into the Philadelphia 76ers because I just don't know. I don't know if Doc's going to be able to lead a team to a championship again.
So Chris Paul and Doc Rivers are on the same kind of lines? Except for Doc has already won a championship.
If I'm trying to come up with a comp for Chris Paul, I think my perfect comp for Chris Paul is not in basketball. Okay. I think it's in football.
Okay.
Is or is not Chris Paul the Tom Brady of basketball?
Chris Paul, wait. Wait one damn minute here. You're comparing a guy who has won 7 Super Bowls.
He can lead them to the promised land.
Or a guy that has never even been to a finals. He can make them do something
that they've never done before.
Goodness gracious. You want to compare Chris Paul to someone in the NFL? Dan Marino. Dan Marino. That is who that is right there. I'm sorry, but for the love of God, do not compare.
I mean, I'm not talking championships. I'm just talking about the impact that the guy has on the team.
100%.
Chris Paul is a leader. He came into the Phoenix Suns, who obviously they had a hot run last year in the bubble, and everybody went crazy. Oh, this is a brand new Phoenix Suns team, and they're gonna do something that we didn't think they could do, and take this short run in the bubble and end up making the playoffs.
Yeah.
They didn't do it, but they ended up going undefeated in the bubble, and now they add Chris Paul, and they've been at the top of the Western Conference all year long, and it doesn't look like they're going to slow down. The problem is when they get into one of these series with one of the other top teams, I mean, sure, they'll be able to take out the Golden State Warriors or the Dallas Mavericks or somebody in the first round of the playoffs And then when they get on and they have to take on, I don't know, the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah.
Are they going to be able to stand up against LeBron James and Anthony Davis and the rest of that crew that's been, basically treading water without those two?
Right.
I kind of got to give Frank Vogel and the Lakers some credit here.
Yeah.
For not just being god awful.
Right.
With those two guys off the floor. I mean, I think they're playing 500 basketball.
Yeah.
I think they're 7 and 8 since both guys went down.
I think that's something that they had to do in the offseason. I think they helped themselves by bringing in Harrell and Schroeder and those guys. Drummond was a huge piece because right now you need him. I mean, he pretty much single-handedly beat Brooklyn.
Yeah. Will Phoenix be able to stand up to
I
that
don't
in
think
the playoffs?
Phoenix has
They're a really
it's tough
good
for me to believe in a Phoenix Suns team, even as good as they've played. I love Chris Paul as a player.
Mm-hmm.
I hate when I bash him and talk about those kind of things because he's a good guy.
Yeah. I don't know about that. We've heard some stories. Chris Paul might be
being very sarcastic
too much
there.
of a jackass, but
being very sarcastic there. But there was an article the other day that showed basically the team win percentage the year before Chris Paul got there, and the team win percentage after the first year that he's been on a new team, and every single place he's gone to has improved, and it wasn't just a slight improvement; it was a marginal improvement.
Right. I mean,
so you got to give it to the guy. He's one of the best point guards, true point guards that we've seen. Floor generals. Like, he's a true floor general. He's not he can score when he wants to. He facilitates when he wants to, but he gets guys in the right position. And when Chris Paul's on the floor, you know darn well, like, they're going to get to the play that they want to get to.
Yeah.
And that's what the best you don't see many floor generals anymore in this league. You got scoring point guards, you got Damon Lillard, all these guys like that.
Right. It kind of seems like it's the perfect marriage right now. I mean, the Phoenix Suns know they have superstars in Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton. Devin Booker especially, I think, will benefit greatly from having Chris Paul around. They've already been the team's been talking about how he has just transformed that locker room. He's brought a winning attitude into the locker room. They can look at Chris and see how you're supposed to do it, how you're supposed to live your life as a professional, whether it be, sticking to your diet program or getting in the gym enough, and all the tenacity that he brings to this team is something different. Now, the question is, has Chris Paul taken a good team and made them a great team? And that I don't know that we have the answer to.
Yeah. I'm not sure about that.
We'll find out in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
I mean, hell, they beat the Bucks last night, so
yeah.
I mean, they can beat good teams. It just depends on whether or not you can do it in the playoffs.
Yeah, the playoffs is a different ball game. I think the playoffs shows you who could be the better team because you get it's 7 games. So it's not just best of 3 or 1 game and you're out kind of situation. Best of 7, really. But more times than not, the better team's going to win the series, barring injuries, barring these kind of things. There was a question that Adam Black brought up here. Where would Chris Paul be on the all-time list had David Stern not stepped in and vetoed that trade to Los Angeles?
Oh, yeah.
That I agree with you, Adam. That would have been him and Kobe on the same team would have been unbelievable, and I think would have been the best player he ever played with. Probably the best chance he ever had of doing.
The best player Kobe ever played with?
No, the best player that Chris Paul ever played with,
all right,
obviously.
All right. I was going to say, easy now.
Easy now.
I like Chris Paul, but easy.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we would have a different conversation. I think that was just a crazy thing. I've never seen anybody that ever happen in sports. I've never heard of it happen in sports where the team, it's like a fantasy football league. The commissioner's like, no. That's not fair. We can't do that. We're not gonna let you do that. And that is absolutely crazy.
Right.
Like, if 2 teams agree to a trade and it works monetarily, then there shouldn't be anybody saying that we can't do that.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm sorry, it's crap.
I mean, even if it's a shitty trade in your fantasy football league, you let that shit ride. Just let them do it to themselves. if they're going to be that stupid, and this is coming from a guy who's made some stupid-ass football trades, let me tell you. Did I ever tell you about the time that I traded Christian McCaffrey 8 weeks into his rookie season for A.J. Greene?
Yeah.
Hot. Yeah, I did that. So I'm not. So look.
Oh, I don't want to talk about the trades I've made.
They let me do it. I did it to myself. I bailed out when the numbers weren't great, and then immediately after I made that trade, Christian McCaffrey became Christian McCaffrey. He was a guy that I really didn't believe in, and it didn't start out well in his career, and I thought I'm just going to jump off this train before it derails. And boy, was I friggin' wrong on that one.
Yeah, it's bad.
But if they want to make a bad trade, you let them and see what happens. I get that the NBA stepped in and said that's not going to be fair to the other teams. Mm-hmm. And then lo and behold, we wind up in the situation that we're in now, and everybody's got, loading up superstars on teams.
Yeah.
I never really understood why the league did that.
Yeah.
Other than to basically grease their own pockets.
Because they were owning the Hornets at that time. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's the reason they got Anthony Davis. That's the reason that all this stuff.
Right, well, they're trying to sell the franchise.
Yeah.
And this is going to hurt the value of the franchise. Yeah. Obviously, we all know what that was about.
So.
But, again, it's just ridiculous. I mean, Chris Paul, I believe... he's obviously been a great influence on the young guys that are there in Phoenix. Yeah. I just don't think that they have the ability to go on and win a couple of playoff series. I think they got one in them, but,
Yeah.
Is it a one-shot deal kind of thing?
Yeah.
How is this going to translate to future years?
How long is he going to stay there? Like, is he gone again next year? I mean, is Chris Paul just a hired gun at this point? And just, we look at you, Chris Paul, and we're like, yeah, you can help this team, but are we willing to give you, $30, $40 million a year that he's getting? A lot of teams aren't going to be able to do that.
No, nobody's going to pay him
Phoenix, he could stay in Phoenix, I think, if they want to do that. Living in Arizona is pretty nice. So I think Chris Paul wouldn't mind staying there. For some reason, I just see him end up with LeBron somewhere, not somewhere in LA.
In LA.
In LA.
Where's LeBron going? Is this breaking news?
I don't know. I just feel like somehow, some way, we're going to see Paul, Carmelo, and LeBron in the Laker uniform, kind of like we did with the Gary Payton, Karl Malone, Shaq, and Kobe situation. I don't know.
That would be bad.
It would be. I think people in the NBA would. Well, is it really that bad though? It's come on now. It's not like Carmelo.
When you threw in Carmelo Anthony, I just immediately.
Well, I mean, Carmelo's not like he's got signed to a 10-year contract with Portland.
I hate him. I've always hated him, and
you watch your damn mouth.
I do. I've always.
Carmelo Anthony won me a national championship.
I know he did.
I love you, Carmelo. You're still my favorite. You won me a national championship, and forever I will be thankful, and I will love you to the end of time. Kisses. But
we are about a month away from the start of the playoffs. We'll have the play-in series, which, so let me break this down.
Okay.
So you got the 7 through 10 seeds.
Yep.
You got 7 and 8 are... They have the advantage.
Okay.
They have to lose twice not to make the playoffs.
Okay.
So you got the 7-8 game is going to be the first one. Then you're going to have the 9-10 game.
Okay.
All right. So the 9-10 seeds, they have to win 2 games to get into the playoffs.
Okay.
So it's a double elimination for
So there's 4 teams
for the 7-8 seeds.
basically playing a round robin.
Right. 7 and 8 will play. The winner of the 7-8 game is in.
Automatically in.
They get the
7th seed. Okay.
Then the winner of the 9-10 game plays the loser of the 7-8 game, and then that will be the 8 seed.
And they would have to beat them twice.
Right. So as it stands right now, you'd have in the Western Conference, you'd have Dallas against Memphis for 1 game, and then you'd have Golden State, San Antonio. Oof. So then you'd have Golden State beating San Antonio, Dallas beating Memphis, and then you would have Dallas Golden State, Memphis Golden State to be the 8 seed.
Okay, and that would be like a best of 3?
No, it's a one-shot deal.
Oh, one-shot deal.
It's just a 1-game deal.
Oh, wow, okay.
And see, this is why Dallas is pissed off about it, because despite the fact that Mark Cuban was one of the owners.
The champion of the cause.
Well, he wasn't, I don't know that he was the champion of the cause, but when the NBA owners voted on this play-in thing, it was a unanimous decision. Yes, let's give it a try.
Yeah.
Well, now that Dallas finds themselves in the 7 spot, and they don't really know if they're going to be able to climb out of that spot. I mean, they're 2 games behind Portland right now to be in the 6th spot to stay out of the play-in. And this is why you're seeing Mark Cuban and Luka Doncic say, oh, this is a bad idea. We shouldn't do this. Our whole playoff stint should not be riding on a one-and-done scenario. First off, it's not a one-and-done scenario. You're going to have an opportunity to get in. You got to lose twice to be able to not be in. I hate it for you.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're bitching because they're going to be on back-to-back nights, and most back-to-backs, what does Dallas do? They sit one of their guys during the back-to-backs. They usually, I don't remember what rotation it's on, but, basically they have been sitting Kristaps Porzingis, I think, for every second of a back-to-back. And that's what they're pissed off about. If we lose the first game to Memphis, then we're going to have to go back-to-back, and we haven't been playing
that game.
Right, and we haven't been playing Kristaps on back-to-backs, and we don't know what we're going to get, so we could be done after we lose 2 games in a row. If you lose 2 games in a row to this group of teams, you don't deserve to be in the playoffs. Sorry, Mark. That's just the facts.
Here's a thought. Win some damn games. Don't be in the 7th or 8th position. I'm sorry. Quit bitching about it. You have one of the best, youngest players in the league. And if Kristaps Porzingis was anything, he's no longer the unicorn. Let's be honest here. He's only a unicorn because you never see him.
Right.
You know what I mean? What the hell is he doing now? I mean, I'm sorry. Win some damn games. Don't be in that 7th or 8th position, and you don't have to worry about it. Teams like this that are complaining about something that doesn't happen yet don't belong there to begin with.
Right.
They shouldn't even be worried about this. They should be saying, I'm not worried about the 7th or 8th position because we're not going to be there. We're not even going to be in position. We're too good of a team. We're going to be higher than that, so we don't have to worry about it. So when I start bitching about it, all I want to say is, shut your damn mouth, period.
Basically what you're saying is, you're not good enough to be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
If you're bitching and complaining that you might be knocked out in 2 games, you're saying we're not good enough to be in the playoffs. And they see the log jam in front of them, and they know that they're not going to jump up above that spot. Portland's going to keep winning games. Dame's going to keep doing what he does. They're going to stay in the 6th spot. The Lakers will get AD back probably this weekend, is what they're saying. LeBron's going to come back in a couple of weeks. Apparently he has been cleared for some limited work, but he's still going to be at least 2 or 3 weeks away from coming back. So he might be back for the last week of the regular season, and then that's it. But still, Los Angeles is probably going to climb above Denver to the 4 seed. And they're never catching Denver.
No.
And Denver's not going to fall out. I mean, just because Jamal Murray's not there. I said it when Jamal Murray went down. I don't believe it really changes all that much for Denver. Does it make them less of a threat to win a championship? Yes, it makes them less of a threat to win a championship. But also, this team is good enough without Jamal Murray to fall out of contention or even out of the top 5 in the Western Conference.
Right.
I don't see Portland jumping up above Denver because Jamal Murray's not there. The rest of their team is good enough to keep them in that 4 to 5 spot. It's just, that's just the way I see it.
Right.
So what they're saying is, we realize we're not as good as the 6 other teams and we should never have done this.
Yeah.
Well, then what are we talking about? Because if you can't win in the play-in series, then what the fuck is the point of giving you the 7 seed, letting you go up against the Phoenix Suns, and then end up losing in that series 3 games or 4 games to 2 or whatever?
I just don't want to hear about them complain about it, something that's not even happened yet. That's the thing that whole conversation bothered me, obviously, as I got pretty animated about it.
Right.
But it bothered me. Mark Cuban can say whatever he wants. It bothers me from Luka's standpoint. That doesn't sound like a killer instinct kind of guy to me. Luka's unbelievable. Let's be honest here. I'm not saying anything, but these are the kind of things that when a player comes out and says things like that, makes me wonder if you're ever going to be able to win big in this league.
Right.
When you're worried about oh, we might get knocked out in a playoff series because we were in that position, then you shouldn't even be in that position in the first place. And you shouldn't be thinking like that. And that's the kind of thought that players in this league that win big and win a lot will never say. I would never have heard Michael Jordan say this.
No.
You know what I mean? You never hear LeBron say anything about this.
Right.
These are the things that big-time ball players will never say. They're not worried about getting knocked out in some sort of playoff series because they don't think they're going to get knocked out ever.
Right.
And that's what bothered me the most about it.
It's just a different kind of mentality.
There's no mentality like that,
right.
You know, and that's what it is. I mean,
I think there are some players that still have that kind of mentality. It's just the fact that they're all too old to really matter, except for Chris Paul.
Yeah, Chris Paul.
We'll bring it all right back around.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think to me, the play-in games, they are what they are. And I don't think that there's, Washington's got a chance in the Eastern Conference. Toronto's down there as well. They've been disappointing this year. They've got a chance to jump up into that play-in series. There are more competitive teams in the Eastern Conference for those play-in spots than there are in the West because the West is just so damn top-heavy.
Right.
You get into the... Well, the 8 seed right now is the Charlotte Hornets, and they're even on the season.
Right.
28-28, and then you've got, the Indiana Pacers, the Chicago Bulls, Washington Wizards, the Toronto Raptors. All those teams are right there jammed together.
I think obviously it's a money grab. It's a money grab for the NBA.
Of course
it's more eyeballs on it, more opportunities.
We need some kind of drama to add to the beginning of the playoff series because everybody bitched and complained about the same things every year.
Yeah.
What is the point of having a 7-game series between the 1 seed and the 8 seed? Who gives a fuck?
We've only had
Get this thing over with.
It's been one team ever, 1 8 seed, or is it 2? No, 2 8 seeds. I think the Knicks won a playoff series when they were the 8 seed, and I think Denver. The Knicks, Mutombo.
The Knicks made the finals.
Yeah, exactly.
That was
Latrell Sprewell.
That was the second Houston championship.
Yeah, the Latrell Sprewell, Allen Houston led teams, which I love that team.
Anthony Mason, was he on those teams?
Anthony Mason was still there.
Yeah,
it was a pretty good. They were hard grit team.
Yeah,
they remind me of the Knicks right now. Very. That was awesome.
There you go.
There we go. And it comes back around, folks. Thanks, Tank, for leading me right into that thing, baby.
Anthony Davis, though, will be back hopefully by the weekend. And in fact, yesterday, a reporter said that to Kyle Kuzma and said, hey, what about AD? Do you think he's going to be ready to come back and play this week? And his answer was, he fucking better. No, his quote was, his ass better play. Yeah. He's been gone for how many months? I hope he's ready to go. I love Kyle Kuzma.
That's pure honesty.
He's just such a little shit.
Would you think that, when AD hears that, you don't think he's going to be coming into that locker room, maybe slapping him in the back of the head and being like, boy,
possibly.
You better not talk about me like that.
You have not earned the right to talk
don't
to
talk
me like that.
Yeah, it's. I wouldn't be happy if I
wouldn't be happy if I'm Kyle Kuzma, though.
Kyle Kuzma is right.
Exactly. Can anybody blame Kyle Kuzma for sitting here going, what are we waiting on? Dude, you're made out of popsicle sticks, and every fucking time you turn an ankle, you got to miss 4 weeks of the season.
It happens.
I'm sick and tired of this bullshit.
Yeah.
Put your big girl panties and get on the basketball floor.
I think it's just a matter of the Lakers are at a point where they're like, I don't care how many games you miss.
It doesn't matter.
As long as you're here for the playoffs.
Right. It does not matter.
Yeah.
Like all this talk about, chasing the MVP and stuff, that's Nikola Jokic. We're moving on to other things. We're not having the discussion. I heard people talking about that today with Steph Curry on his little hot streak here. Oh, is Steph Curry now the MVP? For this week he is. This week.
If he continues,
and then when he goes back to normal, we're all going to remember how bad the Golden State Warriors are when Steph's just playing his normal game, and we're going to move on from this whole MVP thing. I think it's Nikola Jokic. It's not even close. Anybody else in the conversation? So everybody else has been hurt.
Yeah.
You know, LeBron's missed so much time. They don't give a shit about MVPs.
Yeah.
It's not about, winning regular season games, being the highest seed in the tournament. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
We're the Los Angeles Lakers. We need to be 100% fully healthy, ready for the playoffs, and there's not another team in the NBA that can sniff us.
Yeah.
That's exactly the mentality that they have going into this. And like I say, that's the kind of mentality that you want from a championship basketball team.
Absolutely.
Dallas will never be that. They just won't.
Nope.
Because they don't have the guys that have that killer instinct mentality. No, they're sick, sitting over here bitching and complaining about the fact that we're in the 7th seed and we're going to be in the play-in and we could lose 2 games in a row.
They're going to knock us out of the playoffs. We're only going to get to play one game.
Right. Don't sit back and take it.
No.
It's just ridiculous to me. But I think I have come around on the Phoenix Suns to actually believe that they can make some noise in the playoffs. Now, I think it's mainly a 3-team race for the NBA title. No, but I'll throw Phoenix a little bone, put them into the discussion here.
It'll be an exciting playoffs. The semifinals of NBA basketball are always pretty exciting. It's something I enjoy watching because you don't see too often where teams just stroll through the playoffs. There's actually really good games.
Right.
So, but, I mean, the Lakers did last year. They just pretty much destroyed everybody, but they were on a mission, I think.
Oh, yeah. And they're going to be on a mission again to win another title, and I want to see them get back on the floor as soon as possible.
Yeah.
I think it's important to have a couple of warm-up games with your full regiment of players out there to be able to, have some momentum going into the playoffs. But again, I've always said it doesn't really matter for LeBron. LeBron's always had the playoff switch that he can just flip and go, okay, now it's time to put the foot on the gas. And I don't think this year is any different. It's just, this year it's not, LeBron out there playing every game. He's just getting right for the playoffs.
Yep.
Speaking of playoffs,
oh boy,
let's talk about some baseball. Coming into the year, I really pissed my dad off coming into the baseball season because he just kept talking about how the Red Sox are going to be so good, and I kept telling him, I don't know, Dad. I think they might end up being the 4th best team in this division, and they're not going to make the playoffs, and you're just setting yourself up for a failure. And then lo and behold, we're, a weekend or 2 weeks into the season, a little over 2 weeks into the season, and not only are the Red Sox the hottest team in the American League right now, but the New York Yankees are god fucking awful, and it just fills my soul with joy.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on in New York?
We suck. We suck
know
something
that.
fierce. So
Can't hit for shit.
we have a team that is I don't know. I thought Corey Kluber would bring a lot more to the pitching staff than he has. He is a historic slow starter, so there is some things there. Can we stop with this whole Domingo Germain thing he's done? It's time to bring up Delvey Garcia. The bullpen is stacked, and it doesn't seem to be used in the right way. Their lineup is. I don't understand the starting. I don't understand the lineup. Here's my thoughts.
Okay.
And
all right.
I love Aaron Boone, and I love
Aaron
Boone, but here's some things that are driving me absolutely bonkers. You continue to put Aaron Judge in the second hole, and he strikes out 3 times a game. I mean, if he was going 0 for 4, but he's putting the bat on the ball, it's one thing, but he's not. He's not even putting the bat on the ball, and it's over with. Aaron Hicks is batting 3rd. Aaron Hicks is a lifetime 225 hitter in the 3-hole. He is a lifetime 287 hitter in the 6-hole, which he should be batting from. For lifetimes, I've heard you're never going to win a championship with Gary Sanchez as your catcher.
Okay.
He's not even necessarily too much of the problem this year. Where's Gleyber Torres? This guy was supposed to be all world. This guy's not playing well. We got guys playing first base don't need to be playing first base. I mean, Christ almighty, Jay Bruce had to retire because he sucked so bad. And we decided out of spring training after Luke Voigt got hurt that this is the guy that we want starting at first base. Mike Ford, whatever, you did some good things, Tyler Wade, whatever, you're the only player on the team, as we found out earlier, that's batting over 300 practically.
Right.
But, we'll keep him down. I mean, we won't put anybody there. That's a good idea. Jay Bruce is 955 years old. He should never have even made this team unless he was going to be a off-the-bench pinch hitter every once in a while, and we got this guy starting. There was better options.
Right.
We don't know what the hell we're doing. It just seems like we're throwing guys in positions that they're not supposed to be in, and it's getting a little frustrating. I love Aaron Boone. Yesterday you said, how long does Aaron Boone last? And I said, there's no way he's going to get fired. I'm here to tell you, if we're into another month or so and the Yankees are still in last place, he's going to get fired.
Absolutely. June 1. I think that's the deadline. June 1 is the deadline for Aaron Boone to keep his job. If this team is not at least 3 games above 500 when June 1 rolls around, Aaron Boone's done. They're going to move on. They have to move on. You cannot spend $1 billion on your roster like the Yankees have been doing and sit here and still have Giancarlo Stanton hitting 176, and Aaron Hicks at 160, Ronald Odor hitting 127.
I mean, that's another one.
We can keep going. Gleyber Torres hitting just below the Mendoza line at 196. This is god-awful hitting.
So bad.
They're striking out all over the place. They're not making contact on the ball. The pitching has been awful behind Garrett Cole.
Right.
Garrett Cole's been great. Garrett Cole has been the only saving grace of this entire team so far. He has thrown damn near as many strikeouts this year as the rest of the starting rotation for the New York Yankees.
Yeah, absolutely.
They have been terrible. Aside from Garrett Cole, their ERA is like 8.
Ugh.
It's like 790 something.
So bad. It's so bad. They need to figure something out. Switch up the rotation a little bit. Figure something out. Bring up Garcia. He needs to get it. He needs to be able to get some. He is the next guy up in this rotation.
Okay.
But here's the thing. What are you going to do? Do you do what the Yankees have done of old and just trade off everything that you have to get some sort of starting pitcher? I don't remember the last time that a Yankees manager got fired in the middle of the season. It could be Billy Martin. That's how long it could be going back.
Right.
I'm not 100% certain on that. Don't quote me on that, but I can't remember in my recent memory of anybody. And they sucked something fierce for most of my life. Let's be clear. I'm a Yankees fan who, the 80s weren't the greatest era for the New York Yankees, other than Donnie Baseball. Thank you, Donnie Baseball. So what do you do? And you're at this position where you got all these players who aren't playing together. You got a pitching staff who was supposed to be improved, and that was the biggest thing from the offseason that you wanted to attack. And it just it's not seeming to work out very, very well. And you got to start pointing fingers somewhere. Oh, yeah. You got to start pointing fingers somewhere. And, how many more years of this does Cashman get to hold on to the fact that he, brought all them series championships and all that stuff? We haven't won in a long time. Right. And we're the New York freaking Yankees. And if you're the New York Yankees and you're not winning, I mean, if George was still around, every one of these guys would be gone already.
Right. I can already hear Jeremy screaming into his phone going, they're 15 games into the season. Yeah. Why the fuck are you talking about this? Yeah. It's because no one expected this. I mean, we expected the New York Yankees to come out and be, the Bronx Bombers that they were, pinned to be. You got Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Hicks and Aaron Judge. And you've got all of these great bats in your lineup, and none of them are doing a damn thing right now. It's super bad. I mean, I go back to years ago where, the Red Sox are coming off a World Series and they're loaded, and you think, well, hell, we just lost 10 games in a month. I didn't even expect us to win or lose 10 games all year. Right. This is, which has obviously never happened before, but you get the point. And now, not only do the New York Yankees sit here at 5-10 through the first 15 games of the season, they're already 5 games back in the division to the Boston Red Sox, who were picked to be in the spot that the Yankees are in right now. Like, and
it's a complete turnaround.
Right, and you know, one team has really hot bats, and is it sustainable? No, probably not at the rate that it's going right now. I mean, J.D. Martinez is bashing like he wants to, hit 400 this year and break some RBI records or something.
I foresee a PED test coming for J.D. Martinez pretty soon. The way he's going,
don't care. I hope not. I hope they don't test him, and I hope he's doing all of them. I hope he's doing all of the drugs.
Me too. I would be stuck with so many needles. I don't give a shit.
Exactly.
If I could do steroids, bat 320, and hit 40 home runs and get a $100 million contract,
right?
Get him right there, right in the tuchus.
Right.
I take it every day. I don't care. Give me that money.
Right. But you've fallen so far behind so early in the season. 5 games. That's a marked gap to make up, especially if things keep going the way that they're going.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't see good things coming for Aaron Boone if they can't turn this thing around and do it very, very quickly.
We are officially at DEFCON 2. Mm-hmm. So it's not looking good for us.
No.
Not good at all.
They were expected to be as good as the Seattle Mariners are right now. And
wow.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Well,
do you realize that the Seattle Mariners are the second hottest team in the American League right now?
I did, and their starting catcher went to my high school at Central Square, New York.
Really?
Yeah, Tom Murphy.
Oh.
He's a Central Square alum where I went to high school.
Obviously, many, many years after you.
Oh, yeah. Let's be clear here. I think I would have been gone for a long time.
It was a while, yeah.
We had changed our name from the Redmen to the Red Hawks.
Ah.
That was how long ago it was. If you know that whole period where everybody that had an Indian name.
Upstate New Yorkers.
Well, we got the Iroquois there, and they're not very happy with people saying that they're the Redmen. It's not a good thing. Mm-hmm. Not at all. Mm-hmm. Not at all. But yeah, so that's my key point on Seattle.
That's fine.
But Seattle's been a team that's been kind of improving every single year. A little bit here, a little bit there. They're out from the Felix Hernandez contracts and the other stuff that they had going on. And they built up a good roster of farm system and kept with some of these guys. Baseball is one of those things you just don't know. You never know who's going to come up and, you're always going to have your teams. I mean, the Yankees are always going to be relevant. Chicago, Boston, these guys are always going to be relevant. But what's good about baseball is teams like Tampa Bay, who it just blows my damn mind. Like every year after year after year, I can barely name one player on Tampa Bay. I watch baseball, and they just win. Mm-hmm. And they beat the freaking Yankees every single time they play. I don't care what's going on. It doesn't matter. Every game they play, they beat us. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter what's going on. We can hit 100 home runs in a damn game. They'll find a way to beat us. And it's frustrating when you have a team that's got like a $3 payroll, and you have a team that's got a $18 billion payroll. Right. And we can't beat them. But that's where it's at.
You end up having a 3-game series, and Aaron Judge hits the ball 3 times.
Yeah.
In the Rays series.
Yeah, makes contact with the ball 3 times. Not hit the ball 3 times, not 3 hits. He made contact with the ball 3 times in a 3-game series.
Right.
That's your number 2 hitter.
Panic mode time? Are you there yet? Or are you going to give it another 10 games?
I'm not going to panic after 15 games. I'm frustrated after 15 games. Panic will set in probably another couple weeks if we continue down this path. I mean, it's not like we have won, I think we've won 3 games out of the last 10. Mm-hmm. We're 3-7 in the last 10. If we can take the next 10 and we can go 5-5, and then the next 10 and go 7-5 and 7-3, then we got something to say. But if we're going 3-7 the next 10, we're going to be in trouble. And you got to figure something out, and you got to switch the lineup up. You got to. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing I think that needs to happen is, one, you got to change the lineup, switch guys where they're hitting in the lineup, and then we need to decide what exactly we're going to do with this rotation. Because Domingo Germain should not be playing, period.
I think they should play him all the time.
I'm sure you do.
I think he should be the superstar. They should give him $175 million a year. I love the fact that you are so pissed off about the New York Yankees. Now, this is all to say later in the year we're going to revisit this discussion, and you can give me the same shit when things flip-flop.
I don't see it happening. I think Boston's actually really good this year, and it pains my heart to say that. I think that Alex Cora's a pretty good freaking ball coach. I'm not sure if they got someone banging on trash cans in those, hallways somewhere for them this year, but, Alex Cora's a good coach.
I just hope if they are cheating, they found a way to get around it. I'll tell you what, I love winning. And I don't give a fuck. I hope J.D. Martinez is doing all the drugs. I hope they're banging on every trash can. I hope they've got little, Jose Altuve with the little buzzer in his ass, just telling him when a fastball is coming. That's the other thing about the Yankees. You realize that they are the worst hitting team against fastballs this year?
Yeah.
If you can hit a fastball, what are you doing?
We have the lowest OPS in all baseball. The New York Yankees with this lineup has the lowest OPS in all of baseball.
Yep.
Frustrating.
News coming out of the NFL yesterday, Alex Smith retiring after 16 seasons in the NFL. A guy who has faced everything in the NFL. Been on some decent teams, got bumped off the the starting rotation twice, once by Colin Kaepernick and then once by Patrick Mahomes. He's been through a lot. Obviously, the last year, the story of the return after the gruesome leg-crushing injury that he had was phenomenal. It gave us a great story as comeback player of the year. He's calling it quits, and I'll be honest with you, I know he's got a good record as a starting quarterback in this league. But I said this on the ESPN Asheville show yesterday I don't know that you can look at the teams that he was on and yes, okay, they were winning, but could you say they won because of Alex Smith? I think Alex Smith's kind of been in a fortunate position. Like he's almost the exact opposite of like I'm not saying these two guys are on par talent-wise, but like Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford gets saddled with suck-ass Detroit for his entire career. And Alex Smith has actually been in some decent spots. With San Francisco, with Kansas City, going to Washington when they had the defense that could lead them to some wins.
Alex Smith was never going to win you a championship. It was obvious when two coaches decided that he was not the choice to make. With teams that went to championships. But what team wouldn't trade a quarterback that wins games?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's probably, at least more than half the teams in this league that would have been happy having Alex Smith as their quarterback for a very long time. And it's the thing about Alex Smith was you never heard a bad word about the guy. You always heard in these situations too, like Kaepernick taking over for him, Mahomes taking over for him. It's not like Alex Smith was out there saying this is bullshit. I should be the starter. He always took the high road. That was one of the most gruesome injuries. We all seen it. That was a great documentary. His family, what a family. You know what I mean? To stand behind him. I thought Alex Smith would still be playing. I thought a good position might be like with a backup for a younger guy. There was some talk maybe going to Jacksonville, reunited with Urban Meyer, which would have been a good position for Trevor Lawrence. I just think that Alex Smith is like, if I'm not going to be the starter, why don't I just go home with my family? I've proven what I've had to prove. I came back and I did what nobody thought I could do. What else do I have to do in this league? I've made my money. I've done well. Alex Smith isn't going to lead anybody to a championship, so it's not like he's sitting there saying, oh, I need one more run at it. I can do one more run. I don't, but hats off to the guy, great guy. Not the best of career, a solid damn career though. I wouldn't say he was necessarily a bust, being from the number one pick.
Oh no, he was an absolute bust.
You think so?
As the number one pick, okay, think about it this way. If Ryan Fitzpatrick had been drafted number one overall in the NFL draft, would he be a bust?
Yes.
Yes. I don't see a whole lot of.
Alex Smith
they played for what?
Alex Smith has won way more games than Ryan Fitzpatrick could ever think of winning.
Alex Smith has played for what? A quarter of the teams that I think Ryan Fitzpatrick has. But that's how I see Alex Smith's career. He's been a journeyman. He's been a backup at times. He's come in when he's asked to play, and he's played well. I see them on par. And if Ryan Fitzpatrick had been the number one pick in the NFL draft, I believe that he would be considered a bust as well.
I don't know. Alex Smith's only played for 3 different teams. He's played for San Francisco, Kansas City, and Washington, and he's won ball games for all of them. I mean, his career record, I mean, he's got to be above 700 win percentage, probably 650, 700. I'm not sure. Are you looking it up right now? I hope.
I was looking up Ryan Fitzpatrick first.
Okay.
So his quarterback record is 59, 86, and 1.
Okay, yeah.
So he is well under 500.
Yeah, well.
Let's see what Alex Smith is. 99, 67, and 1.
Yeah. That's pretty freaking good.
So he's got a better record than Ryan Fitzpatrick.
That's pretty good. He's won 100 games out of 160. That's not a bad record.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it ain't number one pick territory.
There is a lot. Oh my God. There's so many more guys that have been drafted at number 1 who are way worse.
And I'm not saying he's the biggest bust of all time. I'm just saying he's got to be in the category.
I just don't know if he's a bust. I don't know. That may be a discussion for another time, but I don't believe Alex Smith was a bust.
I mean, I guess he did make the Pro Bowl 3 times during his career. But there again is that what you're expecting from the number 1 pick. I get that there have been number 1 picks that have been way worse than that. I understand that. I'm not saying he's the bust of all busts.
It's tough because he got drafted above Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, absolutely. And that's a shadow that he will always live in.
That's a shadow that was always going to cast over him. So that is where it stands there. Yeah. But, you know, again, good career, good guy. I could still see him signing with a team when somebody gets hurt. I just think that the season's going to start, and he's one of those guys that are just going to be like, "Oh man, I really miss being with the guys and being around that thing." And you know, but he also could just say, "There's nothing left I have."
Hey, let's compare Cam Newton or him to Cam Newton.
Oh boy, here we go.
Cam Newton. Is Cam Newton a bust?
Yes.
As the number 1 pick?
He's not a. He went to a Super Bowl and he's won an MVP. Anybody that won an MVP, I can't say is a bust.
He does have 1 MVP. He made 3 Pro Bowls.
Okay.
His career record, you want to take a stab?
He's probably around 500.
He's a little over. He's over 500. 75, 63, and 1.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
Alex Smith is 99, 67, and 1.
So minus the MVP, minus the Super Bowl trip, Alex Smith better career. And a better quarterback now. Alex Smith is a way better quarterback than Cam Newton is right now. Let's be clear here.
With only 1.5 legs, yeah.
Yeah, that guy, he should be the starter in New England. Let's re-sign Cam Newton. He should have been calling Alex Smith and being like, "You're the perfect guy for what I need to do right now." But I digress.
So everybody that wants to talk about Hall of Fame stuff, we'd like to do this when guys retire.
Yeah.
You want to look at the records. If you're going to say Cam Newton's a Hall of Famer,
oh no, he's not a Hall of Famer.
I'm saying to those who have made this argument that Cam Newton is a Hall of Fame quarterback. If you want to say he is, I think you got to put Alex Smith in there as well.
People that say that Cam Newton is a Hall of Famer put their underwear up backwards every morning. and forget about it halfway through the day.
It's been fun chopping up some basketball and baseball today with you, brother. We will be back to it tomorrow morning right here in the Sportsocracy at 9 a.m. And Caleb Peak will be joining me here on the big table. Nine-ish. We'll be we'll be hitting the air. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We'll have more of our draft run-up content coming out over the next few hours as we are going to be putting out more of the team needs in the NFL draft. We're going team by team. We've got a playlist set up on the channel for you to follow your favorite team. Be sure to tell your friends that this is where they can come and be the one-stop shop, or make the Sportsocracy their one-stop shop for all draft prep. We will be live in the Wicked Weed studio here for all 3 days of the NFL draft. Jeremy will be joining me this afternoon on the radio side, ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400, of course, here at everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Brian Haynes. We are live from the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. We'll see you next time.